Alright, hello, this is Sam's Dreamer. It's also known as China Blaze 1977, and we're on part 4 of this Dark Souls walkthrough for beginners or anyone that wants to watch, and hopefully you'll learn from it or just enjoy watching me play. And right now we're in Firelink. We've made it back to going through Parish. We're not done with Parish because we haven't done boss yet, but I'll get it off of this screen. Right now I have Dark Souls sound to be off, but I'll get that turned back on. Get that image off of there. Alright, get it off of that so we can actually see the Dark Souls title. Prepare to Die edition, and you do die a lot. And this over here lets me know that DS fix is enabled, of course. And alright, we'll get into this. Get into my character. As I said, I already came into here and I turned the sound off. So we're here in Firelink, and I'm doing this during the day instead of at night while everyone's asleep, so there might be a few extra sounds going on. Just so you know that. Also in a couple hours I'll go out and get my children from their bus from school, so I might have to cut it kind of short for that. I'm doing this whole thing where I'm looking around. There's that big bird and stuff. Alright. I'll set the controller down so the next thing, that we could do, and it's something that you have to do to progress in the game, is to go fight the boss in Parish, which, like I said, are gargoyles. Just a second. That crestfallen dude tells you that you need to ring a bell that's above and ring a bell that's below. And I don't know if he says those. I don't think he says those at the same time. So, like I said, you go back to him and he'll tell you more stuff as you do some of these things. Assuming you weren't watching me and already know it, that's how you would know it. So there's the bell above that you have to ring after beating the gargoyle boss, and there's also a bell below that you ring after beating a boss down there that's beyond. You have to go through Blighttown to get it. The area that the boss is in is not called Blighttown, but that's the only way to get there. That boss's name is Quaylag. I won't tell you what it is, but I won't spoil that part, but you have to ring both of these bells so that you can get into Sin's Fortress that I showed you in the front of it in the first video. Now that's actually the way to progress to get to the next big area that we have to go to. Although there are other bosses around here that don't necessarily have to happen right now, but you could go do, and that's part of what's so great about Dark Souls, is that here from Firelink there are several different paths that you can go. If you think you can handle the combat and everything good, then you can go do those things first if you want to, and they'll all of them will give you souls, and some of them will give you some other kind of benefit that would be good to have. So I actually may go get an item that I normally would get before I do the gargoyles fight that's in Darkroot. So we may just go do that. I also wanted to say, I just changed the view for you. The grass is in the way. I'll also make sure that I'm really being captured. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and Okay. With my mod, the EPiC mod that adds all these extra enemies, and I try to tell you every time, you know, which enemy is different. I hope that that's not too confusing, and I hope that you learn something from watching me fight them. Most of them are from some, you know, at least somewhat harder area of the game, and those enemies are harder than the ones that are there normally. And you see that, and I'll prove it, that the claymore that I have is not upgraded, and I can still beat them. It takes a little longer than it does if it's upgraded. I just love that move, you know. This, I want to say real quick, I know I do a lot of those type of things where I say an aside type of thing, or by the way, or whatever, but when you're running, if this is in the way for some reason, that little step that you can't see, if you're running and you swing, then you do that. A 360 around your character. It's great for doing that. Those smaller swords, like the long sword, will do kind of a slash type of thing in front of you, but it's not as effective as this is. I mean, it's similar, but yeah, this sword is just awesome. And the Zweihander is also really good, but this just, it swings faster. So I just prefer this weapon. So anyway, I was saying about the sorry, that was the table. These extra enemies that I've placed, it's not for the entire game as of yet. I eventually want to mod all the games. Each of these areas are called a map within the data files. So there's a map for Firelink, and actually Burg and Parish are the same map within the data file. So, but I don't have the entire game finished. With extra enemies. Sorry, I was doing my nasty habit of smoking. So I could concentrate. But anyway, I have not added any enemies as of yet to Sin's Fortress. And Firelink, Burg, and Parish are basically finalized as to what enemies I'm going to add, other than some bugs, bugs that are created at some places. Possibly, like that Black Knight that's up in the top of Parish now because of my mod. Sometimes he clips through the floor, and then he'll fall through the floor, and he'll be down on the first level, you know, the first floor of Parish. I don't know why that happens, and it may just have to be that way, because I like him being there, because it's just like surprise. There's a Black Knight as you're trying to go to Lautrec, I think his name is, the dude that was dead, but that you would let out of the cell, and then he would be down here, and you would kick him off. I didn't tell you something else about that either. I know it's just an aside all the time when I'm talking, but it's best when you're trying to kick him off to not have a weapon in your hand, because you might accidentally swing your weapon, and he might not get pissed off right at first, but you swing a couple of times and he'll not like it. And if you punch him, he'll tell you, oh, you know, do you really want to do that, or some crap like that. And so, but at least you're punching him. But characters in Dark Souls do not care if you kick them, so you just kick him, and you'll probably have to kick him about 2 or 3 times, and then he'll fall off of here and he'll die. Now, also something I never did say is that if you do let him kill the Firelink Firekeeper, that pretty, you know, the little cute outfit that she has on that looks great on females, it kind of looks weird on male characters, but it's actually really good armor. It has a lot of resistances that are pretty high. I'm thinking curse and you know, maybe fire and poison, all those things. So it's actually really good armor. It doesn't have any poise, and you know, other armors have more defense than it does, but it's pretty good. And once he kills her, her loot will be sitting right here. So you can pick it up right at that point. And then you get this item that will let you invade Lautrec. And I hope I'm saying the right name for that character. Goldie is what I like to call him because he has on gold armor. So, anyway. We'll go back up this way with this wrapping around staircase that we have. You can't fall down this well, even though you can see down it. You probably can hear the fan to my computer because it's sitting right next to the microphone. It normally doesn't go berserk when I'm just playing Dark Souls, but since I'm also using OBS to capture this, it fatigues my computer more than normal. So anyway, I was saying about the enemies is that I put enemies in a few of these boss fights that are before Sin's Fortress, and maybe scattered a couple of enemies around. But besides Firelink, Burg, and Parish, I don't have them completely done. And the extra forest hunters, as they're called, that are in Darkroot Forest, that's behind the door that I haven't gone to show you yet, but they are, I mean, there's some that are normally there, and then I've added some more because I like them, and you know, because they're hard enemies and whatever. They look like starting class characters. They're wearing, you know, starting class characters. There's actually not a pyromancer, but the other types of classes there that they are there. But because I've added them, because in testing I figured out that that's the reason, even though I don't know why, but that's the reason why all these other people that come to Firelink die. Besides that sorcerer dude that we haven't gone to get yet, which is in the lower part of the Burg, by the way. We'll go rescue him. Hopefully I'll have time to do it today. So yeah, I hopefully I can figure out how to, or get help from someone else as to how to fix that, so I can have those forest hunter guys there. The enemies work better if I use an enemy that's also from that map, because I have to use a different enemy and copy over their model and to make them be different, you know. Just so you know a little bit about how I have to do this, to place all these different people, and then that's why these ghosts that I put in here, excuse me, will go into that T pose, just like that crag hollow that was up in Parish, you know, that has those leg things, spider legs coming out of his back. That guy. So again, I'm losing my train of thought, so just a second. We've done that mostly, and I never have upgraded my weapon, which I don't even have on, of course, because I was showing you that deal. I've got a lot of extra weapons now, but I won't mess with using the bottomless box now, so I guess we'll go. I guess we'll hear it, which I got to remember you have to hear it by me pushing that, and then I have to actually make the sound be on in the game. Alright, so here we go. So this is the weapon I want to use for Gargoyle's fight. It may not be the weapon I use the entire game only, and I'll say that too, is that I like to upgrade more than one different weapon, because several weapons have different types of uses. Like this one is good for, one of many things it's good for is for cutting off tails by doing that move. And the halberd that's up here, like it'll do a vertical swing like that, you know, like this, that type of move while you're running, but it won't do it if you're just standing there. So it's harder to use that to cut off tails, which I guess we'll also go do a suicide run, since I guess I'll make it a suicide run to go get the halberd. Because it's out there on the front part of the parish, and I have a bunch of skeletons and stuff out there now. So we'll go this way. Now, since I'm getting so many, you know, I'm getting extra souls and stuff, and I haven't even hardly used my, you know, loot souls that I have, which I guess you could call hard souls. I don't know why I'm even fighting these guys, and he's gonna riposte me. So, sorry, let me just go. I don't think they'll follow me all the way to Andre the blacksmith. Well, there's something else that I never have said. If you're running, or if you're doing anything, you know, that takes up stamina, come down here. We'll just do it out this way. If you're running, or, you know, swinging or whatever that takes up stamina, then watch this. If we run, I don't know if I have enough distance here. I probably don't. But if you let your stamina bar go down all the way, then you won't be able to do... See, now I'm walking. And I'm still holding the button, but it's just now that I'm able to run again. So if you let your stamina go down all the way, then you won't be able to do anything that requires stamina for a couple of seconds. So that's something to just be aware of, that if you're running, you don't want your stamina bar to go down all the way before you let go of the button, and then you can let it go back up a little bit, and then you can start running again. And of course, this is something that speedrunners do so that they can basically run almost all the time, because they pay attention to that. So yeah, so here we have the hammering and stuff of Andre down here. Let me just make for sure that I've got this. Okay, yeah. And that YouTube is still capturing it. Alright, so since I can, I'm gonna get... I never have actually showed you upgrading. Yes, hello. So I'm gonna... I already am holding one, which is the one that giant type of knight dropped from killing him. By the way, the Black Knights do not respawn, except if you're using my mod. The ones that I placed, they will. I'd like to make them not respawn, but while I'm testing, I'm kind of glad that they do respawn. So we'll purchase, I guess, 2 of those. For now, don't get yourself killed. I'll try not to. And we're gonna reinforce the claymore. So the first time it takes 1, and for a great sword, or this particular one, it takes 400 souls. So we'll do that, and then, yeah, don't get yourself killed, of course. So I'll use this. Usually when I run around, I've picked up a 2,000, you know, soul, but I guess I haven't yet, where I went so far.
Well,
alright, so hello. So we're gonna do this. Now, the second time you reinforce, it'll cost 1 Titanite shard again. And then it's gonna cost 2 Titanite shards, and then 2 Titanite shards, and then the plus 5 will be 3. I don't know why I keep getting out of that, sorry. Yes, I've got just enough to buy 2 of these, so I'll do that. But then I don't have enough souls, and Right, I guess I'll make it a +4. Sorry you're having to see me do it this way. That I can't just cut through it, but you've never seen me do this yet, so... Just by 1, I think. Yeah, do that. Okay, now I have a +4. That's enough for now.
Neither.
I mean, I guess I can make it be +5 though. Oh, I just remember something that I told you that was wrong towards the beginning of my first video, or I mean the last video that I did, was I was saying in New Game Plus that you keep upgrade materials. Now what I meant really was that, or that you, well, I was saying that you don't keep the repair box and the other smith boxes, but you also don't keep these upgrade materials here. So you'll lose that. So if you're wanting to upgrade anything, you need to keep your blacksmiths alive and go upgrade those things first, because you'll have to get all this kind of stuff and get all of this and all, again, when you do New Game Plus. So have at least one weapon that you've maxed out, unless you want to make it harder on yourself for New Game Plus, of course. So what am I doing? I'm buying... I don't know if I got enough souls to buy. Yeah. The mouse is still down there. I don't think I have enough souls. Ah. Well, yeah.
Well.
Right. Well, I can't. I know I can't do it. Yeah, I know you'll be seeing me. Let me just say real quick about these guys down here that you'll see, which the one in the middle, you know, the one on the right, is the normal one. He shoots lightning. I guess this is the first time that you come across an enemy that shoots lightning, which damages you pretty well. Now this guy does not respawn, and they put him really close to an important NPC, didn't they? I'll try to run out there so we can see him while I'm talking about him. Actually, this is the way I was wanting to go anyway. They don't have a head, you know, but they got those giant horns. So this one in the middle, he won't respawn, but the other one is one I placed, and he does respawn, just like all the other things that I placed respawn. And he'll give you a different type of Titanite that is called a demon Titanite. And there's special type of weapons that upgrade with that material that we'll get into later. So here are these demonic foliage, or else Ents, and I'll just like to call them tree folk. Since I like Magic the Gathering, they're tree folk, you know, for green. Yeah, we'll cut you down. I should have an axe for this. Well, I do have an axe, but this is more powerful. Now, you could come through here without an upgraded weapon and still beat these guys. And if you are a pyromancer, they're weak to fire because they're made out of wood and leaves and stuff. So they always, and this is, even if I didn't have my humanity at 10, they have a common drop of dropping these mosses. That one I don't ever use, but it's for making your bleed meter. If you have a bleed meter, it'll go down. But if it goes up all the way, then you immediately get the damage. So, but they all, well, whatever. Anyway, oh, this is a new guy. Crap. I was trying to tell about mosses, dude. Ouch. This dude is in the DLC, which is, he's much harder. I mean, he takes more damage to kill him, but he's also weak to fire. You can get his weapon, which the game considers a spear. it's kind of funny when you can do that move right there also, where you fall down with the weapon. It's kind of like we're in Wizard of Oz or something. This is an evil scarecrow. Well, an evil version of Wizard of Oz. Alright, die. Alright, he dropped something too. Alright, that's purple moss, and this is the antidote for poison. But this is something else that will confuse new players. Let me have some of my drink first. They'll get this, and it says that it's the cure for poison. But then they get into Blighttown and they get toxic by blow dart guys that are there. These little hollow dudes that are blow dart guys. And you get toxic, and it makes your meter go down a whole lot faster. And they try to use this moss clump, and it doesn't cure it, because it's another moss clump. Another moss that's called blooming moss that is for toxic and for poison. It'll do either one. Though of course it's the better one to have. And these you can buy after we open up the basement with the basement key, and then we go all the way through it, and then we're able to get to a shortcut and all this stuff. And then there's a old lady zombie that is the merchant there, and this is one of the things that she sells is these things. But what I like to do, just so that I don't have to pay her for those, and just so that I know for sure I have them, is to come through Darkroot Garden and kill these trees a couple of times to farm them to get those moss clumps. And I'm trying to make sure that my voice is being heard, since I'm going through these kind of noisy areas, so I'm not trying to sound like I'm being mean or rude or anything. I'm just, if that's what you think. Hopefully not, though. And I'm also kind of in a hurry to get done with this, or, you know, to cover some stuff that I wanted to cover this time. There's another one of those, and, you know, of course, since I have soft humanity at 10, I get them more often, but then that way you don't have to watch me farm a whole, you know, as long. So, yeah. So this place, and of course, you know, this place, when you come into here, it's nighttime, and when you go back into the Parish or the Firelink or whatever, it's going to be daytime. That is a interesting thing up there, isn't it? A giant butterfly that's magical. Well, I'll just spoil it. That's a boss, and it's not a boss that you have to beat, but it's not that hard to beat. And there's an NPC that you can summon to fight that boss. That's a witch. That you don't kill her to get the witch outfit, but you get the same outfit as she has, which is really awesome looking. Wizard of Oz type of thing, you know. Anyway, she's an NPC summon that'll help you with that boss fight. That we could just go do, I suppose. Although I was going to kind of save that for returning to the asylum. As I told you in the first video, that knight that gives us our Estus Flask, that he turns hollow, and then he attacks you when you go back to asylum. And once you kill him, which will be pretty easy to do now that I have the Claymore upgraded some, and I have Pyromancy. I mean, he's a semi-hard fight. Kind of like PvP would be, but with, well, whatever. Anyway, his shield is really good against magic. I think that it's the best shield in the game against magic. So that's what I always use for magic once I have it. So you could use it in this butterfly fight because it's going to shoot magic at you. Alright, and so this guy comes up all dramatic like that, grows out of the ground. So, and when he was doing that animation of coming up out of the ground, he's invincible during that. if you swing at them, it won't do anything. So he didn't drop anything. There's an item up there that I've made it tougher in my game to get around to where it is because of enemies being in the way, but we'll have to get through them, and that's part of why I've upgraded the claymore some now, because I need it. Alright, there's a soul that's, sometimes I forget, that's hidden sort of there. Alright, so we come this way. You know, of course you gotta be careful coming through here, you know, because that's a ledge, and you fall to your death if you go down that way. And then this is a door that can be open, but we can't open it right now. Well, I don't want to go into how you open that. There's two different ways that you can get the key to that. I guess I'll just say it now. Andre sells it, but he sells it for 20,000. But if you kill Andre, he drops it. You get that as loot. But do not kill him to get this door, and you actually don't even need the key to get through this door. There's a whole back way to get into Darkroot Forest. That's what's back here. I mean, we're in Darkroot Garden, but I call this Darkroot Forest that's beyond this, because there's NPC enemies that are, you know, human looking guys that are in there, and they're called forest hunters. So I call that Darkroot Forest. Now, well, I just looked at it, but where the hell is a bonfire, you know? Well, this is an illusionary wall. You can roll into it or whatever. There's the bonfire. Again, be careful. I'll kindle every one of them, which I don't have cheat engine going. Because I forgot to do it. Really? Huh. Okay. Alright, so we're just real quick. I gotta open this. This is gonna be minimized, so it's gonna look like it's paused or something. Okay, I'm back from getting that. We'll get this opened up. We'll tell it that I want to stay looking human all the time, and it's not that, even though I could make it max and then it would be 99, but my defenses would be up a lot. And humanity, I want that to stay at 10 all the time by having this check marked. So yeah. Now, I'll just point out something, that your humanity doesn't affect how powerful your weapons are. Other than some weapons that are called chaos weapons that do scale with your humanity. It's one of the things they scale with, and 10 is the max for how powerful they'll be. So we'll get into that when we get to it. None of these weapons yet would have that ability that we've seen so far, but as of yet, right? Okay, so what am I doing? Okay, right. I'm trying to tell you all this stuff, and I'm trying to be mindful of the time that's over there. All right, now I placed an extra enemy. I mean this one, but there's another one that I guess I just won't even look at because I don't want to confuse you too much. There's a mimic that I put in around there. We'll just let this, well, I guess I'll heal now. Now, I used up all my stamina when I did that, so it's best to just back up, especially since this guy's semi-hard. Where am I? Oh, I'm here. Okay. They get tired or something. I'll tell you one thing, is that where these guys actually exist in the DLC, the downloadable content, the extra part of the game, which is the prepare to die edition part of it, you know, that I usually run past all these dudes on the way to the boss there, so this is the most I've ever looked at these guys before. These extra ones I've placed. So this is not a boss fight, and here's another thing. There's that mimic, which is that chest in there. If you're coming through here, and you go into there, and get that soul, I don't actually even know exactly what it's going to be, because I never get it. There's going to be like 3 or 4 of those tree folk, as I'm going to call them, guys that'll spring up and attack you and stuff. And then if you've activated that event, then even if you use the bonfire, you know, even if you leave Darkroot Garden altogether and come back here, they're still going to spring up and come after you. So I don't like to deal with that, so I just don't go in there to mess with them. And I was going to say, this is not a boss. This is just this area. Okay, these knights like that I'm looking towards is laying down. They wake up and stand up and come to life and all. Oh, there's that mimic. Oh, God. I don't want to fight you in here. Now these mimics, like I placed this mimic, okay? The first mimic is in Sin's Fortress, but I placed some of them earlier because they're hard enemies and they drop good weapons and such. He's really tough, in other words. He may fall off, which it wouldn't be that great of a loss, because what he has is a shield that you wouldn't really get until way later than this. See how much damage it's taken to beat this guy with the big giant tongue. Kind of one of the scarier enemies in this game, especially because if you if you go to the mimic, okay, let me say, normally these guys are doing like this, where, well, they don't have their mouth open, but they look like a chest. And what you do is you either try to open the chest and then it'll open up its hands and bite you and stuff, or you can attack it while it's laying down as a chest, like I'm doing, except the mouth wouldn't be open. And then that'll make it wake up and it'll stand up. But these extra enemies that I placed that are mimics don't behave that way. They just, if I get close enough, they just stand up and start coming after me. Because the mimic AI is not in Darkroot Garden, so I had to use the AI of a different enemy and then make it look like a mimic and have the parameters of a mimic, but it don't have the AI of a mimic. So I know that's technical and stuff. I don't totally understand it either. Oh God, it's taking a long time to kill this thing. Oh, I don't want it to, wow. I don't want it to fall, because I don't think I would get the loot if it falls. Ah. Alright. All the mimics, you know, the real ones and these ones that I have, well, at least for the real ones, you could throw a Lloyd's Talisman, which is this thing, at it before you've woken it up at all, and it'll just open its mouth and give you the loot. You know, you can pick it up. Or you can kill it, like I did. And that's actually a fairly good item there. It's crazy, at least. That, again, you would not get until way later in the game than now. Okay, this is a shield. This is that shield I was saying that I have a Silver Knight guarding. It looks just like this, at least. The one that's 5.5 weight, so it's too heavy for what it's worth. So I would suggest you not use it, except that it's got 100% block. The one in Parish probably has stability of like 50 or something like that, but because this one is upgraded to a crystal upgrade that I don't want to really go into as to what that means right now, but its stability is 70, so it's got the most stability of any shield I have now. But I probably medium roll with it on. Yep. Okay, well, I'll just say that that loot that I'm trying to get to that was up that way, that we come around to get to by going the way that I'm going, it's a ring. It's a ring that I want, that you wear, of course, and it gives you 40 poise. And I usually come get it before I go through Burg and stuff, and I'm thinking that's why that Black Knight kept staggering me and killing me, because I usually wear the wolf ring. That's what it's called, the wolf ring. For poise. That made sense after I watched my video and thought about it. It's like, that must have been why. Okay, we're going to come in here and get a different weapon. I mean, I may use this. This guy comes up behind you to surprise you. This is all the same in your game. You know, that dude coming up, he dropped purple moss. So I've already had 3 purple moss. Alright, here's a 2-headed snake that's right out of Adam and Eve or some shit. And so... Alright. This thing... Oh, it dropped this. I think it would poison you or something. You get that. I don't want to explain what that is. You don't need that right now, though. Alright, the partisan, which is a spear, which I may not have enough dexterity for. I guess I do. Okay, it takes 12. Alright, this spear is pretty good. I wish it was more powerful. I don't think any stronger than the regular spear that, you know, the merchant in Undead Burg sells and the little spear dudes use. It's not any more powerful, but it's got a... It's longer, I guess. I don't want to test that right now and make you have to sit there and watch me test it. But one thing that's cool about it is that this is a strong move. And, yeah. That can be useful. I think it... Yep, it does it when you two-hand it also. That's coughing you're hearing, which isn't me. Okay, so yeah, this may be the spear, as I said, that I like to use a spear also, but it's heavier by a little bit than the regular spear is. 4.5 versus 3.5. But see, it's 80 and 80, just like the spear. I didn't mean to do that. D and C and D and C. So it's the exact same power as the regular spear. Okay. But this is good. I've used it, you know. But I don't guess I'll use it right now. Put it back on that. Okay, so it's water, of course. These things will trick you to thinking that there's loot, these glowing flowers. Alright, we come over here. This is something you have to get past. Is this tree that's kind of moving and stuff, right? And I've got some enemies back behind there, just in my game. That I'll eventually release. So, yeah. So there's that. Now this red eel, what, jellyfish, whatever the hell thing it is it exists here, but all this other stuff that you're gonna see doesn't. This tree folk guy can also grab you and eat your head. Which is kind of funny and ironic that a tree is doing that to you. These guys are really lightweight too. They flop around when you kill them. All lightweight and stuff. It's kind of strange. Yeah, that. I may add those to some other places, maybe. Because they're sort of cool, and they only exist in this area where I'm going right now. Alright, and this that it dropped can be useful. It's a green blossom. It temporarily boosts your stamina, just like the grass crest shield, but it's temporary. It's an item that you would enable. Most of the time people enable this right before a boss, or else if they're playing PvP, they'll use it, you know? Right? Yeah. Okay, anyway. Now, that is a super tough enemy. It's kind of like those big stone knights that they're called that are sleeping on up in there, except it's the harder version of them because it's a DLC version. Now, I got him facing that way, so he hopefully won't wake up as I come through here. Alright, it's another one of these scarecrow type of dudes. Oh, that other enemy is coming for me. Shit. That's another thing in this game. You probably best to play it while you have on headphones. That way you can hear things that are happening. He goes into the T-pose. So, sometimes this tree gets in the way, but most of the time it's not in the way, so you can just go past it. Alright, more of those weird red things will be out that direction, but I'm not going to go to them. Alright, with my weapon being upgraded and the fact that it's the Claymore, I'm going to go ahead and kill this guy that's up here. Let's see if that dude's following me. Okay, so they wake up, right? And I'll hit them. Now, it'll hurt me a lot when he hits me. Please don't kill me. What am I stuck on? I'll tell you one thing too, like I could have used, I thought briefly about using humanity right then. But, oh, this is a move that he does. No, I can't roll. Oh, thank God I was below him like that. So this aura that he just put on me, that's still on me. I think it's like a miracle that's called Tranquil Walk of Peace or some crap. And what it does is it makes it where you can't roll and you can't move very quickly and stuff while you're close to him or until he's dead. So yeah. That is a miracle that you can get also. If that's what you're doing, there's the wolf ring. So this is the thing we were seeing from down there. I've used the bonfire, so those tree folk guys are going to be there again. Yeah, sometimes I come through and kill them before I'm going to come up here. But anyway. Now you can make this jump here. Now, you can go back the other way. But, and I'll probably mess it up just because I'm talking about it. There we go. This guy comes up and kill him. Get whatever he has. More moss. That's good. The blow dart guys that will be in Blight Town, they will drop mosses that I think that you automatically get them. I know you automatically get them. So, yeah. Their loot you automatically get. Yeah. Alright. Okay, so now I have the wolf ring. So, now my poise is 40. Even though I'm not wearing heavy armor or anything. So I guess basically what happens, if you want to think of it this way, is when you're holding up your shield, like this one's 51, that my poise is basically 51 plus 40 when I'm holding this up. So yeah. So I mean, poise does help you. But it's also important to be able to get away from enemies fast. Unless your armor is super strong and we don't have... Oh, that's right. I remember this too. Now I'm going to kind of do a suicide run, as it were. Maybe. Actually, maybe I'll just use the... No, I want to keep these souls to... Yeah. Okay, well, whatever. I could do that quit out of the game thing, I suppose. Alright, if I go this way, you'll just see what I do, because I have to do this quickly. I'm going to get armor. All these guys are going to wake up and stuff. Alright, that's that armor that dude that gives you your Estus Flask, he was wearing it. The Elite Knight armor, which is also probably the most iconic of the, you know, armors from the game that you'll see on the cover of Dark Souls and whatever, you know. People, yeah. Okay, these dudes are following me. Yeah. Alright, so they're not following me now. So, I'm gonna do what I do. Make sure I'm still being recorded. Yeah. Make sure that this still get me, and that I'm private and stuff. And I'm the person that's watching and all that, so. But it'll be on my channel. Okay, so usually what I would have done is when I do this whole coming back way type of thing, I at least do this where I come through, I kill these tree folk guys several times and get the wolf ring. And maybe this armor, which I'll put on now. But I'm probably not going to wear, and I just saw that other strange helmet that I got that I suppose I'll show you. Now this is pretty good armor. You know, you got that freaking sound. You know, which is appropriate and everything, but I don't like the sound of it, and I actually have a mod that makes it to where you don't hear the sound of that, the clanking. Now the funny thing is if it's only coming from the chest. So if I take off the chest, then we don't hear it. But yeah, this is good. Now I'll just take off the poise ring so we can really see this easily. It has 46 poise. And if I put on the poise ring, I've got 86 poise. So sometimes I'll wear this, but am I gonna fat roll? Yes, that is fat rolling. That sucks. And preferably I would not want to be fat rolling even while wearing this armor. So yeah, we'll wear it for a little bit, I suppose. But alright, so what I want to do is use those souls that I now have to get the rest of the Titanites for this weapon to upgrade it the rest of the way that we currently can do. Alright. Now there's also that butterfly boss, but I don't want to mess with that right now. I'll show you that later. Also because, at least for a first time player, I think you should go get the crest shield that's good against magic that this dude that looks like this was holding. That's back in the asylum. Alright, and I've got that. This tree folk guy that comes around the corner. Let's hit him with pyro, I guess. And then this guy. Yeah, wow, I'm so much slower. If nothing else, I've gotten so used to fast rolling that I just don't ever slow roll. Sometimes I want to cosplay as this guy right here, and I'll just cheat to make myself fast rolling with Cheat Engine, because not only are you rolling slower, but you also run slower, and it takes forever to get anywhere. He didn't drop anything. Oh my god, we're so much slower. You can walk over this rock. Well, if I was going fast, I could, yeah. Yeah, no. So of course that went back down there. That's something else I just thought of. The Black Knight that's down that way, going towards Darkroot Basin. He is holding the Black Knight halberd. He was down there where this shield was at, the Grasscrest shield. Now, if he dies, you automatically get the loot. You don't have to go pick it up, because he could fall off, and that's great because he could fall off the cliff, you know. But if he drops his weapon, then you really have a godsend type of weapon, because it is so freaking OP, and it's more OP than its stats actually tell you it is, you know, this stuff. So I don't know, but I think the one-handed, it has to be 32 strength and 18 dex, I'm wanting to say. So yeah, and I have a mod that makes it look better because it's gold colored. But we might go back and try to get it from him after I get that ring. That makes it more likely. Some of these weapons, I mean, with the item replacer, I could just cheat them in to show you, you know. But yeah, which you could also do, but like I said, you're going to be so OP against these enemies that, first of all, you won't get the feel of how hard they are and just how hard Dark Souls is, and plus the game just won't be as fun, you know. Now sometimes I get OP weapons or I get OP magic and just run through the game just to be doing, just because, you know, just because I can and stuff, but it's not as fun as progressing the normal way that you're supposed to without cheating. So, wonder if I can wear this. Yes, I have it modded so that, you know, she has on boots that are, you know, like that. Well, you know, like I said, this stuff is heavier. Than my pyro starting outfit was. Oh, currently of the shields we have, which one's the best one against lightning besides that one we just got, maybe? Grasscrest oil, or that heater shield, that little shield. Oh, this one is. I'll wear it, just be doing. That's right, this one is. I don't usually mess with these dudes. You know, there's only one normally, but I don't mess with them at this point. Not yet. I could kill them. Possibly could kill both of them, but I won't. I don't remember how many souls you get. It's a couple thousand, though. Oh, yeah. Alright, so I need 3 or 2, I mean. Well, actually, I'm going to do... You'll see what I do. So, I need 2, and then I need another 2. So, I'm going to reinforce the claymore the rest of the way, and now it doesn't show up. But it's up here. Well, you need a special ember. That's what the item is called to modify. And then I'm going to only do it to the first one because these rest of these are going to go in the bottomless box. I'm going to upgrade this light crossbow twice. Now, as I've said, I'll say again that I kill mosquitoes with the light crossbow that's +2 with those wooden bolts that are cheap, you know, to buy from the Undead Merchant. It might work if it's a light crossbow, you know, if this was +1, it might work for that too. I don't know, but I know for sure that it works for +2, so I just go ahead and make it +2. Don't get yourself killed, yeah. He's cool though. It may look like I get irritated with these NPCs when I'm talking, but it's just because I'm trying to hurry, you know, not make you have to hear them talk every time and stuff, yeah. Alright, I guess repair everything. Could use a soul to level, I guess. Put this back on, I guess that, and just a second, please. I gotta kind of get my thought process situated now. So right now that one, I guess the bottomless box is what I need to do. I got all this extra stuff. That NPC named Trapped that'll come up out of that water that I don't want to spoil to you what he looks like. But you can sell this stuff. You can sell stuff to him. And he will change bigger Titanite, like this Titanite chunk, he would make it into several large Titanite chunks for you by feeding it to him. So, I don't want that. I probably won't. I'm not going to use the Balder Sword either. Yeah. I won't be using this either. Maybe this Y-hander I'll use again. This spear is better than this one, so I'm just going to use it. Yeah, or at least, whatever. Don't need these light crossbows or this one either. That's enough for now, okay. I'll just tell you also now that all those mosses that I've gotten, each of those different types of mosses can be, his hammering. Just a second. Yep, Onion Bro is gone from here because he's dead. In my game, I wish not. You know, his whole deal isn't all that important, but he's funny, okay? His voice acting is cool, and he's funny, the stuff he says, and he's always asleep every time you come to talk to him, and you have to wake him up. And he's like, oh, I was just thinking about something. Anyway, yeah, Sin's Fortress is this, which we can't get into yet. Okay, what was I trying to tell you? These mosses, they are some of the things that you can trade with that nest. And the red and the purple moss will become one. They'll become twinkling titanites, one for each of that, and the blooming moss will make 2 twinkling titanites. So, yeah. So it's always good to have some extras of those, which is another reason why I go farm the tree folk guys, as I call them. I don't know why I did that, except I just felt like it. I've modded the claymore also. I've got several mods for making it look different. I made its blade a little more of a blue tint, and this thing on the back, whatever it's called, the sheath type of thing, is orange for me because I wanted it that way instead of being brown like it normally is. I guess just trying to clear my head. Well, we'll see how much more damage I do to these guys now. I guess I'll hit them like this. That kills them in one shot. So, yeah. This dude. See how much that helped? And it would have helped a lot just for one. Just to make it +1. Yay, Titanite shards. So I'll hit them this way. Alright, so what am I doing now? Thinking. Sorry. Since can't edit myself, we'll just look at this, I guess. We'll eventually go up there, but I won't spoil it any more than that, okay? Alright, so I guess the boss I can beat. Now, I'll just use a humanity. One of these many humanities I have. Okay, I'm not even going to use gold pyresin, I don't think, for this. Because, okay, so how much damage? I never showed you how much, well, unless you noticed the screen, I never showed you how much damage that it used to do. But I wish it would just add these numbers up for you, but you can look at this and know that its AR is 191. So upgrading it to 5 has made it almost as powerful as the Drake's sword would be, but the Claymore will end up getting way more powerful, and I've just barely have stats that are greater than what it needs, which is 16 and 10. Oh yeah, we're gonna get well, I can survive going through here better now. I guess it don't. I could have used these souls or whatever. Oh god, sometimes these dudes, at least for me, that they'll all jump down. So I guess we'll take care of these dudes. It does a lot more damage to them now, obviously. A freaking raper. Oh, here comes the party. The swarm of zombies. I hope that skeleton's seeing me. And a rat, right? Oh crap. Meant to hit the rat. Still couldn't hit it. That torch dude. I don't care. He's just going to drop crap. Probably the broken sword. Just tearing up the church. These guys are extra. It's just my funny arrangement of them. So this is where that woman, I think her name is Ray, that sells some of the more powerful miracles. She would be sitting here facing this way, I think, and praying to whatever that, yeah. So that Chandler's dead, right? Oh yeah. Ah, let's just get it anyway. Yeah, broken straight sword. There's actually a use for this that you converted into something else. I won't spoil that yet because we can't do it, but have at least one of those, possibly. Okay. Oh, I got so. Oh, from last time. Now one of these skeletons that I have over here, of course, it's just, if you download my mod, because this is available now, right now on Nexus, one of the skeletons is an archer, and the only skeleton in the game that's an archer that I could use for that is from the catacombs, and so he reanimates, but the rest of these guys are Firelink type of skeletons, so they don't reanimate like the ones from the graveyard. I wouldn't even think about trying to fight 3 skeletons at once with something worse than this. But I've upgraded this thing now, so yeah. Ah. Guess I should use this. The rat I thought was glowing. Okay. There's that archer. His eyes are glowing. So yeah, he's gonna reanimate. Man. Oh shit. Okay. If I can get far enough away, I'll just use humanity. But it takes longer to do this. So be aware of that. I accidentally did the jump attack. Okay. What'd you give me? Another hood. Okay, yeah, I'm going for the halberd. Alright, that skeleton. I guess I could open the gate also. See, his eyes are glowing when he dies, and he didn't give me souls. So he's going to reanimate, just like the ones in catacombs will. That's the halberd. But, well, I'll go in here. I accidentally did that. I didn't mean to. Okay, so it's down here. Alright, it's this awesome thing. That's an axe on a spear. It jams it forward. The only thing that it would basically make it OP, I guess, if it could do this, but I didn't. Yeah, did I show you that? Let's just put it on a spear. You can turtle, just like those spear guys. Now doing this doesn't do as much damage than being out like that, but yeah, you can turtle. But the halberd you cannot turtle. So if I hold this up, I'm not going to do that. And you stagger yourself if you miss something, but if you hit something, then you can hit them several times, which I guess we'll go test on this guy that keeps reanimating. And this isn't upgraded, so see, I can just keep doing it, and it staggers. It staggers a lot better than a spear will. Let's see, it'll also do this. This is strong attack, and if you're two-handing it, it'll do that. And strong hand, well, no, that's strong. Yeah, it's probably, well, it's great in this game, at least. Probably wouldn't want to do that in real life if you were holding this, but and if I run at him, wait on him, then you couldn't really see it. If you run, then you slam it down like that. And the fan's going crazy again because where I'm looking at it, I'll kill this dude pretty quick with this. Heck yeah, dude. Alright, all these guys. Might be able to kill them through the gate. Ouch. Alright, I'll open this just to be doing. I might go this way when I go that way. Now this is another weapon that I told you, the halberd, that you possibly could use this for your weapon for the whole game. It's really good. That again, now there's another halberd that the gargoyle boss may drop when he's killed, except that it doesn't swing like this. Instead it does a vertical swing. So, but it's also a good weapon. So really, between that weapon and this one and any of these Black Knight weapons especially, like, you really don't even need any other weapons besides these for the rest of the game, even though there's some more later. Well, I have a bunch of souls from doing that, which I don't want to lose because I may lose them in the boss fight, because I placed more enemies in there, including, well, you'll see when I get up there. Do this first, since that's the tax I have to pay every time I'm sitting at a bonfire, I try to think, I guess. Nah, well, whatever. I'll make that 16 because of my whole even number quirk I have. I suppose I'll make this 14. Yeah. Let me just mute sound. Whoops. So I don't have to hear him. Make sure that I'm still being recorded, though. Light a cigarette too. And I'm about to forget what I was going to say. Why was I wanting to do that? Something to do with my stats. Oh, yeah. As I was saying to you in last video, that my recommendation is, at this point of the game, that your vitality doesn't need to be any more than 14. And you see how many times I've leveled up before I did anything to that. I'm already at 21. I don't think you could be that high up yet. I mean, you could be, because you go around and farm enemies for souls and for their items. Then you could be at this point, and I suggest that you do that too. I'll just say, because I'll forget it if I don't say it, the whole thing of, I was saying to go around and farm the Balder Knights, because they may give you Titanite shards, so you won't have to buy them from Andre, and even if they don't, you'll get enough souls to where you can buy them from Andre. So it works out. And also, I like to do it with any weapon, especially if I'm using some different weapon. Just go around and kill those guys, kind of like they're my sparring partners or something, you know. Just test the weapons on them, and yeah. And, you know, it's fun, I think. This is one of my favorite areas, actually, because of, you know, it being a castle and being zombies and knights that you're fighting against, and gargoyles is the boss, you know, so it's pretty awesome, I think. And this cool dude that's down here, that's the blacksmith and everything. So, okay, so right, but the vitality being 14. Now I'm pretty sure about this within my own calculations that I've done, that when you're wearing the Ring of Favor and Protection, well, I need to explain that first. The Estus Flask, the max that it can ever be upgraded to, no matter how many playthroughs you do with that same character, it can be +7. That's the most it can ever be. And I'm not for sure whether you can get enough Firekeeper souls in one playthrough to get it to +7. Maybe you can. I don't know. But whatever. Anyway, if your Estus Flask is +7 and you're wearing the Ring of Favor, then let me say that again to make sure I'm saying it. If you're wearing the Ring of Favor and your Estus Flask is +7 and you have vitality of 14, then one Estus Flask will fill your health all the way, even if it was almost down to nothing. Alright, so that's why I do why I do, and that's why I say 14. Now if you're not wearing the Ring of Favor, then about 20 or 21 vitality is that same scenario happens, that a +7 Estus Flask will totally refill your health. And that's also why it just, for me, I rather for my Estus Flask to totally refill my health. That's why I don't feel the need personally for it to be twice as long, like a lot of PvP players especially like to do. So anyway, that's what I think. And your vitality would have to be up to 40 for this meter to be twice as long, you know. So your level ups are better off being in other stuff. Alright. Okay, those dudes are going to be alive again. I guess I'll kill them with this. Get the sound back on for them. Okay. Get the mouse out of the way. That's Darkroot Garden, as it were, down there, you know. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, shit. Do this move against them. Even with it unupgraded, it's pretty powerful. It's just that I like to have the secondary weapon to be a spear. That way I can turtle. I never have just held the claymore and the halberd at the same time. I guess I could do that though. Oh, being a sneaky ninja guy there, weren't you, dude? What's up? I got him gazing off in the distance. So you see, and I mean, these enemies that I've placed, they have the same health as they would where they're really supposed to be, you know? So you don't even have to have your weapon upgraded to beat them, as you see, right? Okay, so we'll look at this again. I guess the boss is what I'm going to go do. With this weapon, because it's the one I have the most upgraded. And I'm going to cut off the tail. And I'll just say that now. Well, I'll explain this boss. There's going to be two, well, normally. There's one gargoyle that you see, and not immediately when you get on the roof. This all happen on the roof. Those guys are pretty noisy. It's up there. It's up there. Yeah. They'll be on the roof and everything. And so there'll be one gargoyle. And then when his health is down to about half, then there'll be another gargoyle that's kind of a weaker version that his health is already half and he doesn't look as good. He looks like he's older or been through a lot or something. They're still that way. I don't know how to make their health be maxed out for both of them. But in my game, I made a copy of the second gargoyle, and I placed him at the opposite end of the roof from where the fog door is, but he still hears you anyway and comes for you and blows fire at you before you've gone through the fog gate. I mean, I can survive it and everything, but yeah, so it's going to be a more chaotic fight than you'll see, unless you use the mod, of course. I guess in a way this is kind of a walkthrough of how to play with my mod, even if it was your first time, so maybe you could. And it won't be for the entire game anyway. Whoa. Alright, so now this zombie swarm is just going to be unbuffed since no Chandler is here. And I'm going to damage them a lot more this time. I could use this too, I guess. Alright, so come in here. That still kills them in one shot, even without it upgraded. Since this thing does a thrust type of action. Even though I think that, I don't have time to look, but I think that it considers it normal damage even though it thrusts it forward. Because there's different types of damage that the game considers it to be, either a thrust or a strike or normal or a slash. Spears do thrust damage. And this does normal damage or something. I think I'll switch to this for this guy. Sorry you had to see all those columns in the way right then. Well, I'm going through too many humanities, or I mean, flask for this. Well, I can survive, possibly. Okay, so we're going to come in here. You may be able to hear that gargoyle. Now, just so you're aware of it, that Lautrec Goldie, as I call him, that we let out of the cell, if he hadn't died spontaneously like he does in my game, then his summon sign would be over here for you. But he's dead for me, so whatever. Alright, that's Sunbro Solaire's sign. Ah, his halberd makes it through the wall. I'm gonna go down here while I think about the plan. They shoot fire, so I'm gonna use the Dragon Crest shield. I don't want both of these weapons on here, so I'm gonna use that. Now let's see if I fast row still. Yep. Alright, I shouldn't. My plan usually is to go cut off the tail because it gets you a cool weapon first. But if I can survive this time, I can kill this guy, this extra gargoyle before. Whoops. There's Solaire. I can kill him before I make the cut scene for the fight start. Come on, Solaire. I want to look at you. Praise the sun. Alright. Alright, there's the lesser gargoyle, as he's called. There wouldn't be these extra enemies. This guy, I like to throw a firebomb at him. I also have a spearman down there halfway, and both types of Balder Knights are that way, which if you don't go all the way down there, then you don't wake them up for the fight. But I guess we'll actually see the cutscene, because it's pretty cool. So that's his halberd. And his tail is that axe, and that's the weapon that you get if you cut off the tail. So I'm not perfect at doing this part, like get the tail anyway. Because you can't target him. I mean, you could target him, but it's easier to not target him while you're trying to do it. Sometimes he gets close to the... over here at the edge. Oh, come on. I don't want to fall. And I don't want Solaire to kill him before I'm finished. God damn it. Man, crap. This time he's gonna be coming for me already because you don't get the cutscene, and the other one's gonna exist as a enemy. So I'll put it on this for that rat. Possibly this guy wouldn't even start firing at me if I didn't come over here where he is. I don't really know, even though I put him there. I don't care what he dropped. Well, okay, his shield. It's kind of good. It's 100% block. I woke up him too. Okay. Oh man, he is such a ninja. Take that. I like how they flatten out whenever that enemy dies. Anyway, I was gonna say that too. Just something I had thought about that is extra cool about this game is that each of these enemies have their own AI that's not tied to any other enemy. In that, well, let's see. Like, all these dudes are controlled individually. So, if you're go crazy and just run into a group of enemies, then they're all going to start swinging at you, you know? And it's kind of random how they're going to swing. So, even though the enemies are always in the same, spawn in the same spot, then you don't know exactly what attacks they're going to do at any particular moment. But they do telegraph what they're going to do by, rearing back like your character does to swing. And these guys do it slower than you do. So, after you're experienced with playing against these dudes, which is another reason why I suggested you go around and farm them, then you start to kind of notice how they swing you know, what their different tails are for how they're going to swing. So, yeah, that's something that you can just, it just takes experience, you know. Just practice and stuff and you'll get good, at least as good as I am, and maybe better. Hey, you may do it a whole lot faster than I was able to. Why am I doing that? He's the one that is low on health, not me. Crap. Well, it is possible to just run past all these guys, by the way. Except I want to summon Solaire, so I'm not going to. Or if that spear would try that, I guess. See if it'll kill one of these normal zombies. Nope, not that way. There goes the fan again on my computer. Oh, that rat. Roar. Whoops. Ah. Well, it doesn't matter. Alright. Okay, I'm going to use a humanity for this. Alright. Make for sure that I'm being recorded and that we're live and stuff, or you know, whatever. Anyway, being recorded by YouTube. If it wasn't, I'll just say, you know, these fog gates. There's another one at the other end. It blocks you in from going up the tower where the bell is, so you know you have to beat these guys first. Now this shield will protect me mostly from that fire. There he is again. Sunbro. Okay. Alright. Nope. He didn't die from that. Now you did. I want this tail over here, dude. I usually try to just get the tail just kind of as a trophy, if nothing else. I want it. I'm sure speedrunners, if any of them would ever watch me, they would say, man, you suck at getting tails, don't you, dude? Oh, come on. There we go, finally. The gargoyle tail axe. Now I'm gonna kill him pretty quick, but I'm getting hit by the other one, the real one that's the boss. Part of the boss fight here. His health is already down to half, like I said. Solaire killed the other one for me. The rest of the way. Yeah, his halberd is messed up and everything too. There you go. And then Solaire disappears, and you get one of these sunlight metal things if he's still alive when the boss fight's, you know, over with, when he's dead. And you get 10,000 souls for this. We didn't get anything extra. I still have that thing I haven't showed you. Yeah, since I have cheat engine, I may just cheat it in just so that I can show you. And the gargoyle halberd is something I sometimes use because you're able to make a pretty powerful weapon from it by making it a chaos weapon. I'll just leave it at that. These dudes, I like how these guys kind of go look to the side of them when they realize that you're coming. It's like, I don't know. Oh, God. Yeah. I hit you through the wall like that. No. Mr. Rapier. Yeah. Oh, I've got fireballs. I'll just use them. Really? Thought he was dead. No. You're not killing me. Okay, so this is the first major objective of the game to finish. We go up here. There's nothing in here. There's nothing even over here yet. Go up this. You can't go up ladders fast in Dark Souls 1. There's nothing over there except that just to look at it. There's no way to get there as far as I'm aware of, and there's nothing there anyway if you could. Go up here. Personally, I like to have my character to not wear... They'll put their shield and their sword on their back and stuff when you do, because there's going to be a cutscene. So I like to make it to where they're not holding anything, you know, besides the pyromancy flame or something, just so that I can see it better. So that's the bell above that we've rung now. Which doesn't look like it does anything, but we have to ring the other one and then something will happen. Which I've already told you, we'll be able to get into Sin Fortress. Funny enough, you can survive this fall right here. Yep. And then this guy appears.
Greetings. I am Oswald of Karim, the Park.
Right, but his voice is funny, but we'll just go through it. Learn his gesture, which is a pretty funny gesture. What he sells. I'm not going to buy them because I probably won't need them, but this thing will cure curse. So remember that. Make a mental note that this dude sells purging stones if you get cursed. These two things are for PvP type of stuff, so I don't care. He'll sell more of that. That's a miracle that actually kind of sucks. So anyway, that's a talisman for miracles, but it scales with intelligence, you know, sorcery type of stat. And then these rings that are way too expensive to buy them unless you cheat in your souls or something. This one's good against, you know, good for if, well, you can read, I guess, but if you're if you're being bled, it's for that, and this is for poison. And then he also sells rings of sacrifice. I don't know if he has a if it's unlimited or not from him, but anyway. And then that's some stuff that I just don't want to go into.
Anytime. It is only human to commit a sin.
Yeah, it's pretty funny how he laughs. Okay, put this stuff on. Alright, well, I could warp out of here. I talked about where that one soul was that I missed. It doesn't really matter to me, since I'm getting so many more, right? So I've got like 13, almost 14,000 souls. Yep, this is pretty cool and everything looking. Of course, you heard me enough times say I think it's freaking awesome. But we're going to get out of here. I'll tell you this again, just because I kind of said it wrong last time, sort of. To dupe this, you swing your sword, and then you push X. You push X and then start, but you don't do them at exactly the same time. You push X, and like before it was going to complete or something, right? You push start, which means you have to do it pretty fast. So we'll do that, and then that, and then once you're into here, it doesn't matter how fast you are, but you got to make sure that you're seeing this menu and first, and then you say that. So yeah, well, I've got all these souls. I don't want to just keep leveling up and leveling up, because it's more than, you know, a person normally could get without using my mod or going around farming like crazy or beating some of the other bosses first before coming to the gargoyles. Which, sorry if I'm repeating myself, I don't know if I said this before. There's a boss that's below, that's the other bell. And because of the master key, or just coming around this direction, you can get into Blighttown. And there's actually just no freaking reason at all to go through the front of Blighttown, unless you just don't know that you can skip it, or you're wanting to go through there for some loot. One of which is a ninja outfit, and it's not the Hollow Thieves, it's actually a ninja outfit. It's pretty freaking awesome looking. So there's that, and there's a pretty good shield that's considered a great shield, but it's pretty light for a great shield, so it's good. It's called the Eagle Shield. Now, you know, I usually skip it in my playthroughs, the front part of Blighttown, unless I just go through there just for the fun of it. You gotta be in the right mindset for it to be fun, because it can be a nightmare, because there's all kinds of high little rickety looking walkways that you walk over, and you can fall to your death off of any of them. So it's kind of like platforming, which this game isn't all that great at doing. So it's difficult. We will probably skip it in this playthrough, although I might go through it. At any rate, the boss that's below, that's named Quelaag, you could go beat her first before coming to the gargoyles if you want to, because you are able to go down there. And there are some other bosses that you can go beat that you wouldn't have to beat necessarily right now. And there's one that you don't have to beat at all, but that butterfly. But there's a particular item you can get after you beat that boss. That's, you know, useful. But it's not a have to beat the game. Besides, I'm going to suggest, at least for a new player, that you go back to the asylum and get the shield that's good against magic for that fight. So, I don't know. We're going to turn off music because I don't want to hear Firelink's music when I'm down. Well, never mind. Alright, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these souls. I'm going to have to end the video pretty soon. And I don't want to, I could go do some other stuff, but I don't want to get too far into it and not complete it. Because I'm going to have to go out to my kids' buses pretty soon. So we're just going to go back down to Firelink. And I'll try to think of anything else I would like to say to you. For education and stuff before I end the video. I probably did this moving around the camera too much again, so sorry if I did. Well, I'll show you this part. At least so you know how to get back to the asylum. Which we're not going to do yet, but that may be the next thing I do in my videos. The next video. As I've shown you, you do that, and then come up here, and you keep coming up here. There's that dude that I added. Keep coming up this way, and then there's a nest. That I'm not going to do, but you set in it, you know, curl up like a ball, like you're an egg. The first time you do this, it'll take about 30 seconds before the cutscene starts. And then that giant bird in the cutscene is going to pick you up and take you back to the asylum. And then every other time, it'll just be like almost instantly that you set here, that it'll happen. So that's how that is, yeah. They just go back down. You can kind of get stuck. Well, I'll do this. I roll to get over here. So I'm on top of the roof. And you can fall down this hole if your health is up all the way and survive it. You almost hit that miracle guy in the head, but you don't quite when you do that. But yeah, but if you get down like this, or this, there's his firebomb. Then you can't get back up on that roof as far as I'm aware, even if you get on this thing. So, these little pillars are here that you can fall on, and you don't take damage as you come down. Oh, and our friend Frapp is sleeping underneath there. Which, if this crestfallen dude was alive, still in my game, if you talk to him now, he would tell you that he's getting irritated by that snoring, basically. So, yeah. Firelink's music. Repair all my stuff. I know at least in Dark Souls 2 and probably Dark Souls 3 that just when you set at a bonfire that it just automatically repairs your stuff. And I can't remember whether it costs souls or not when that happens, but in this game you have to do that unless you cheat it with cheat engine, which I do a lot of times just because it's sort of annoying to do. But, you know, whatever. You can make your infinite durability and then you don't have to do that. But it's a, you know, part of the experience of Dark Souls to have to repair your stuff, so I would suggest if it's your first time to just go ahead and not cheat any more than what I have of having 10 humanity and having your person always be human and not anything else. And if you want, you know, do that whole backup saving thing like I do that cheats death and keeps a record. You could keep a record of where you've been. So that's what I like to do. I guess I'll say this one more thing, is that this whole thing of duping the homeward bone like I'm showing, especially for if you're on console, not on the PC, well, the Firekeeper souls, that I don't have one right now, but it can be done that same way. So sometimes I keep one of them for this purpose. you do this move, and then you push X, and then start, and you gotta make sure that you see this first before you see the yes and no, especially with Firekeeper souls, because there's only just a handful of those in the game. Anyway, when you do that, it will give you 5 soft humanity up here. So if you're on console, you could dupe the Firekeeper soul. When I played on console, that's what I do also, to make this be at least 10, and usually I make it 15 or 20 just so I have some extra soft humanity for kindling and for becoming human. But it's more work to do that, you know, than it is on the PC. But it still can be done. Also, there's some boss souls that we could get. Well, we're not to those bosses yet, but they work that same way of duping it, and you can dupe it and get the yes no thing and tell it, yeah, you can dupe those too to get more souls. Just so you know, that is possible. But don't just use them up like that. I mean, be real careful if you're going to dupe them. And don't just use them for the souls, because they'll give you a bunch of souls if you consume it. But those are going to be used for making boss weapons that are special weapons that we haven't got to the blacksmith that makes those yet. But he makes special boss weapons, and you may not want the boss weapon, but still, just in case, especially first time of playing through, just keep all those. Dupe them if you want to, like I've explained. But yeah, don't use them up. And I wish when I was first playing that I had either known that this existed, or I had known about duping boss souls and such when I first started. Because it was really hard to me at first to get through this game. I played as Chandra Blaze as a pyromancer the first time I played too. So I guess I'm doing it again, sort of. The other types of pyromancy that we can get, one of which will be flame that you throw out right in front of you, and it does that pretty fast. It's about as fast as swinging a sword is. So, or maybe even faster than swinging this. And then there's also one that'll put a bunch of pillars of fire around your character, and any enemy that's in that space will get damaged by that. So, since my guy is going to be dead for my playthrough, this dude that sells pyromancy, I think what I'm going to do is, after I get to where he exists, you know, or I mean where he would exist, where you rescue him from, then I'm just going to cheat in some of those spells so you can see them, because you can do that with Cheat Engine. But I suppose next video we'll rescue this sorcerer guy, and I'll buy at least a couple of sorceries from him so you can see those, and so I can use them. Alright, just a second. The video may be ending soon. Well, it is, but... So, I appreciate you for watching. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that was helpful and educational and enjoyable to watch. And eventually I'll get better at doing at commentating. As I've said, I'm just learning to do it. So, yeah. Alright. Alright, thank you for watching, and we'll quit out and get it off of that and let that be dramatic, that title and everything, and boing. Alright. See you in the next video. Thank you.